giant koala at Dadswell Bridge on the way to Horsham.
This first part of the trip I went from Geelong to Horsham, Dimboola, up the Nilmarrabille track, across to Loxton, Berry, Renmark. Angus found a couple of friends. He's very gentle with all his friends.
Good morning. Lovely cold morning here in northwest Victoria. Well, 13th of September and it's still freezing cold. Found a campsite in northwest Victoria. Looks like an old place where Stockman had his hut. Old sheep yards about. There's an old tank stand over there, I'll show you soon. A lot of history in this old place. I can just imagine all the sheep coming in here with all the dust blowing around. He would have had some hot days here, also some very cold days in winter. Well fertilised, so there's a fair bit of clover coming up through here. See remnants of a water trough there, the end bit of the water trough. Over here the trough must have been leaking a bit. So they've can see where they've concreted the end of it. It's keep the steel water trough going a bit longer. Unfortunately, there's a lot of barbed wire left around here. I've been picking some of it up so it doesn't get tangled with the sheep, the kangaroos. There's old wire left. That bit there, you can see where they've twitched two posts together. Only the wires left, the posts have all rotted long, long ago. Good sturdy old wire. See the old windmill stand here. Just the bottom part left. You can see the scrapings here where they would have had a tank or a dam for water for their stock. And not far away up here you'll find they had their hut. It's reasonably sized by the looks of it, more than just a hut. You can see the faint outline. I might send the drone up later to get a better look. Faint outline. The red outlines where the bricks are, where they would have had the chimneys. Old broken bottles about. Remnants of a chimney there. Another little mound here. There's more bricks over there. It must have been another chimney, probably the kitchen. You can see a wire mesh there, probably a meat safe or a coolgardie safe. There'll be plenty of blowflies, so they'd want to keep all the flies away from their meat. Lovely quiet spot it would have been for them, except when the sheep are in here. Bit of horehound growing around this old stock camp. The old timers used to make horehound beer out of that. I remember as kids in South Australia we used to get a few cents if we spotted a horehound. It's a weed. Found this soak at a place called Kabinga. It's been a watering hole. Had to find out a bit more about the place. I just crossed Victoria, from Victoria to South Australia.
Kabinga is the site of an old railway station. It was the end of the line. It was built in 1914 as part of a big government project to open up the Murray Mallee for grazing and cropping. Next part of my trip was from Loxton to Araroo in South Australia.
Lock 4 between Burra and Loxton, South Australia. These locks were constructed in 1920 to 1930 to keep the river at a decent height for paddle boats.
Found this nice camp spot just out of Araroo. There's not many places you can find to camp around this area. I just love the peace and quiet, the isolation, the bird noises. This is what camping's all about.
Rocks of all shapes and sizes. Some got stripes through them, some quartz, probably some gold there. If there was, I wouldn't tell you. Just everywhere. How's this for an early morning walk? Great Outback Creek. I've had some floods through here recently. Gnarly old trees. Oh, I tripped over a rock. Look at the big eddies where the floodwaters have cut in under the tree. Sun's just hitting that bank. Look at the colours coming up.
Next stage of the trip, Araroo to Quorn over the South Flinders Ranges.
Cutting across to Quorn from Araroo. Very bare for farming around here. There's a lot of these old buildings around here. Started off with promise. They just couldn't support themselves with the harsh environments.
Met my brother at Quorn. I just happened to have a tailgate camper as well, and we went from Quorn through Crystal Brook down to Port Wakefield.
And at Lake Lockeel in South Australia, they've got a couple of monsters in this lake as well.
Brother and I are at Port Wakefield, just looking for a place to camp. We used to be in this spot about, well, I suppose about 50 years ago. We used to go crabbing in this area. So we just see if we can find a good spot here. It should be nice and quiet. It can get very windy though. You can see the seaweed there on our right as we're walking down the beach. Like I said before, it's very tidal here. The sea will go out a long way, so it's nearly right in at the moment. Went from Port Wakefield over the North Mount Lofty Ranges to Murray Bridge. Went through Gawler, amazing lovely old South Australian buildings in Gawler. Camp spot between Horsham and Stawell. A lot of water about.
Very unusual to see water in these channels. Been all replaced with piping. Great Southern Channel is running again. These old channels were replaced with piping, but we've had a heap of rain here and they've just filled up naturally from runoff. You can see it running there, coming in out of the paddock there. Cockatoos are quite disturbed seeing us here. Canola crop, grampians in the distance.